Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Hey, Jess, would you like to go over our Patreon?
I would love to. Patreon is this wonderful service which allows you to give us a little financial support for making the great content. And for that, you guys get a lot of fun extra stuff like patron-only commentaries, occasional after parties, a ton of fun other crap too. Like, I mean, it's great. And if you pay a certain amount, you can even pick what we get to choose. Like Mina Maniri, who is one of our patrons, has already picked 2 musicals for us, and she's picking a third now. And Lily Ackles, who just recently moved up to that tier, is about to pick. We're about to contact her and ask what she wants us to do. So if you pay a certain amount, you can control us, basically.
We will be your slaves.
Yes. And our slave masters are Stephanie L., Terry Needleman, Max Lunick, Benjamin Lair, Lily Ackles, Mackenzie Horner, John Donna, Taryn the Duck, #ConfirmedRealDuck, Melissa Goldman, #ConfirmedRealGoldman, Jess Lightning, the best Jess on the show, Ewan Cassidy, Haley McDonald, Taskier, Cal McLeod, Fire September, Mina Maniri, Monica Thoreau, Brent Black, Haley Murray, Allison Wonderland, B-Way Flicks, Michael Johan, Nathaniel Stacy Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Luna Rocks 222, Dragal Drew Witter, William Want, and Carrie Arem.
Did you get that right?
Ahern. Carrie Ahern. That gives a little extra financial support.
Financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you would like to join them in supporting us and get a ton of fun perks, such as patron-only commentaries or episodes a day early or even earlier, come join us on Patreon. Would you like to start the show for real,
I would
Jess?
love to start the show for real, Andrew. Hello, I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew to like musical theater. How are you doing today, Andrew?
I am doing pretty good, actually. How are you doing, Jess?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, eh? How about you?
Oh, we're not gonna do the Canadian voice the whole time. I don't think I can even try that.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, you actually messed that up. It's sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Eh?
Eh? Hey, did you watch the news?
No, I've been here doing a podcast actually with you, so I've not really been.
Bad news! We're about to have a bunch of planes coming into here, Newfoundland.
Oh, why are they coming in?
9/11.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Y'all missed it. Andrew went across the room.
Okay. Thank you for that, Jess.
In case you guys haven't picked up on it, this week we're doing Come From Away.
The perfect, light-hearted take on 9/11.
Welcome to the wildest weather that you've ever heard of,
where everyone is nicer, but it's never nice above.
Welcome to the farthest place you'll get from Disneyland.
Fish and chips and shipwrecks.
This is Newfoundland.
welcome to the rock. An islander, I am an islander. I'm an islander, I am an islander. I'm an islander, I am an islander. I'm an islander, I am an islander.
Come From Away is a Canadian musical with book, music, and lyrics by Irene Sankoff and David Hine. It is set in the week following September 11th attacks and tells a true story of what transpired when 38 planes were ordered to land unexpectedly in the small town of Gander in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador? In the small province of Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada, as part of Operation Yellow Ribbon. The characters in the musical are based on, and in most cases share the names of, real Gander residents, as well as some of the 7,000 stranded travelers they housed and fed. The musical is received by audience and critics as a cathartic reminder of the capacity for human kindness, even in the darkest times, and the triumph of humanity over hate. Andrew, how'd you like Come From Away?
Come From Away is actually pretty nice. It's I liked it quite a bit, like more than I was expecting to. Although I do remember the first time I saw this, I think it was like maybe or even our first episode.
It was our very first kind of episode when we did the Tonys.
Even then, I was like, that show looks pretty good.
No, I mean, at first glance, the show I would describe as a surprise because it looks like a bunch of old white people kind of half dancing.
And it kind of is, but it's about a place where a bunch of old white people live. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. How would you describe the plot of Come From Away?
Okay, well, it starts out in this small town, and it introduces all the small town folks and the fact that, oh, nothing ever really happens here, eh? And then all of a sudden 9/11, and now there's a shit ton of people. And then basically it's just like what happens with all these people, and they learn how to fit in better in this place, and they have some fun, and then they go home, and they're like, oh, well, 9/11 still happens, so I guess...
Being in Canada didn't stop 9/11 from happening.
Yeah, but then it's the finale is like, oh, but we kept in touch.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I think the plot to it is not weak because it's like a true story, but it's like it's kind of more just holds together like some fun events that happen more than anything.
And emotionally resonant events. This is I don't like using the word groundbreaking because it does seem a bit like hyperbole, but I personally have never seen a musical documentary done quite in this style, because this is a documentary, so to say.
Yeah, I mean, you usually don't see true stories told in this kind of way. I mean, you might see something like Evita, where, you know, they're trying to tell a true story based on a person, and it's like, oh, well, this is their life, and this is how this stuff happened. But this is like, these are events, and this is like a bunch of people, and this is what happened. You know, there's not really a main character per se in the whole thing. I would say there's like 5 or 6 people that they mainly follow, but it's a lot of songs are like group songs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all of the songs, honestly. I don't think there's like how many songs are like one person, like maybe 3.
I think only one. I think only one is like a solo number, and that's Me in the Sky.
Yeah.
Because all the rest has the company involved in some way.
Yeah, and I think what I like as well is that a lot of the music here is really like folky, which is great because it works with the plot because I mean the plot is about a small town community coming together to help a large group of people, which I mean that just suits folk music, and then it also helps with having every song be a company number. Because, I mean, nothing sounds better in folk music than gang vocals.
I don't know how to describe the feel of this because there's nothing to compare it to. It feels honest. It feels like we know what we are, and that's fine. Like, very proud.
I would almost say wholesome in some parts, but it's like not quite. It never goes to like Disney levels of sappy wholesomeness.
Because there is still the darkness of the event, which is...
Yeah. So I feel like it really it has a good tone to it, and it knows how to play that up. And the music is throughout pretty fun, and there's enough emotion in it that it's, makes you feel something, but it's not overly like sappy and like, oh, 9/11 happened, please cry here. Insert part where you cry,
They try not to harp on the 9/11 thing because then it would feel like using it as a tool. Like, have you ever heard of the film Remember Me with Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, I was honestly gonna bring that up.
All right, I'll let you talk about that then.
I mean, that's just awful, isn't it? Like, the whole story has nothing to do with 9/11, and then it ends and it's like, and then he died in 9/11.
No, like, I think the last shot is like, hey, this has been a period piece, right? I wonder where he's going. And it just pans out, and it's like the 2 towers and then a title at the bottom.
And then it shows the date.
Honestly, that's kind of how it is. Except the September is right next to the 2 towers, so it looks like the 2 towers are the 11.
Yeah, and it's like, it's so, like, hitting you on the head with the cry hammer. It's like, he's gonna die in 9/11. Get it? Get it? He's gonna die. It's like, Jesus Christ.
It's really good, and I really credit the composers who have never done anything much before this or after this. The main thing that this composer team, which is an actual couple, they are an item, the only thing they did before this was a musical called My Mother's Lesbian Jewish Wiccan Wedding, which is about his mother.
I'm surprised it didn't make it to Broadway. I mean,
it was just like he was going to write this crazy story, like a more exaggerated version of his mom's wedding. And then they were like, no, just tell the truth. And then he just wrote that musical as the truth of how his mother got remarried and a Jewish lesbian Wiccan ceremony. And it's like, okay, all right. When you tell the truth and you just tell things how it happened and you just bring out the human element, people can relate. So they read the news story about what happened in Gander, and they saw that there was going to be like a 10th anniversary celebration in 2011. They're like, all right, let's go interview these people. And they met. Basically, they just sat down with a bunch of people with their iPhones, not knowing what they were going to do with it, whether it was going to be a musical, and just had them tell their story. And Beverly Bass, who is the main pilot character, they sit down with her, and she basically tells her entire life story, and nearly word for word, they turn it into Me in the Sky. And then Beverly Bass didn't even know, like, she was going to be into a musical until she got the invite. She's like, okay, then me and my husband are going to sit down and watch this. And then she just sees, she was like, I expect to be like a background character or just like something, but they give me my entire number and it's my life. What?
Yeah, and I feel like this story resonates with so many people because there's so many different type of people in the show. Like, there's not like one person that it's like, well, if you don't relate to this person, it's pretty much over. You don't get the emotional resonance. Like, there's like the couple like of a Texan and a British person that meet up and kind of like hit it off while they're stuck there. There's the one guy who's like going into people's backyards and expecting to get shot. I mean, it's just a bunch of crazy stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different people to connect with.
The mom who thinks her son who's a firefighter, might have died.
Yeah, which I don't remember if we get closure on
Yeah,
that.
he died.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's like, there's a lot of different types of people in this, and I think there's something for almost everybody,
Mm-hmm. Can I tell, like, a really sad-ish, like, story about the pilot character Beverly Bass in real life? Because most of these are based on real people. And so she's got this real feminist anthem about like, hey, I was once not allowed to fly because I was a woman. Now I can do whatever the fuck I want, and I'm awesome.
Yeah.
And know what she does now?
No.
She sits on Twitter tweeting about how great Trump is and cyberbullying Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah, I mean, well,
she is an old lady.
To some extent, though, you have to still be happy for that she was able to overcome her obstacles. I mean,
yes, but my point is,
you can't just suddenly turn against that because you don't agree with her politics.
I'm just saying, old people shouldn't have shouldn't have Twitter. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, Twitter is an angry place for angry people on both sides. Let's just be real here. I mean, people like to get pissy, and old people get pissy at the young people, and the young people get pissy at the old people, and that's just kind of how Twitter works.
Oh, Andrew.
Yeah, me too. I also do, but the old people aren't going to get that because they already have theirs, and they don't care.
Free college, Andrew. Free college.
I don't know. I don't want to detract from her role in the musical.
What was your favorite story? What was your favorite plot line within the musical?
The British and Texan couple. I thought that was pretty cute.
Okay. I didn't think you'd be the sentimental type.
I thought it was fun. I like the part where they're all dancing about being a Newfoundlander. That was my favorite part of the whole show.
Kiss the fish.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the whole show. I thought that was really great. I mean, I like small town communities, and I like those type of small town people. And this whole show is just full of that.
I just kind of like how no one's an asshole.
Well, yeah, and I think what you a lot of times get with these type of communities is everybody knows everybody else, and everyone likes to help each other. Like I live in that type of area, and you get that from people,
I guess. I'm a city guy. I'm a city boy.
Yeah, you're a city boy. I mean, and when you walk
born and raised in South Detroit.
when you walk down the street, you probably see 800 people that all would spit on you if they got the chance.
They do.
And when you live in a small town, everybody knows each other and they help each other.
So Andrew, are you the small town girl living in a lonely world, and I am just the city boy born and raised in South Detroit?
I feel like they have that backwards, because I feel like the city people are the lonely ones.
There's no such thing as South Detroit, too. Like, that's not a thing that exists.
Well, I mean, there is, literally speaking. I mean, there's a southern part of Detroit.
No, there isn't.
I mean, there is. I mean,
No,
if you look at a map, one part of it is further south than the rest of it.
Nope. Detroit is weird.
Detroit is one literal point on a map, and there's no parts of it. It's just you go there and it's a single point.
You see, there's Southwest Detroit, there's like different variations, but there's no South Detroit.
Well, there's no region that they call South Detroit, but there is a part of
Then
Detroit
why would
that
they
is
call
south.
it? Why would they call it South Detroit? Why wouldn't they have just called Northeast Detroit?
Because it fits in the song. You've written lyrics before, right?
Yes. But I would not.
Born
stoop
and
to the
raised in
level of making-
Southwest Detroit.
That still works. It still works.
It doesn't work nearly as well.
It works. You know what? I would have just said like born and raised in somewhere in Detroit.
That is like beyond infinitely worse.
Speaking of lyrics, how'd you like the overall storytelling here? Because it's kind of like nonstop music, but there is dialogue.
I think it's really good. Because when you're telling this kind of story, you need to have they almost have like a narration in a way. Because you have different characters that will come out and tell you what's going on. Beverly is one. The mayor is one. And they kind of just come out in between songs, and they're like, and then this happened, and we've never seen anything like this before, and
We got
then they go into another
tampons
song.
and pads.
Yeah, and then they go into another song, and it's like, it works because there's not one person that we're following, and it makes it more difficult to have a straightforward story.
Were you ever confused because the actors pretty much played double roles here, and was that ever confusing for you?
There's a few times where it's like, is he playing the role or is he part of the ensemble right now? Or
Right.
You know.
Because that was kind of confusing when I first saw it too.
But, I mean, I guess I kind of just took it as, like, it doesn't really matter, because there's supposed to be 7,000 people, so it's like, whatever.
Now, when we did Evita, you talked a lot about framing and real people and all that. Do you feel like this had... Like, they had that responsibility of framing real people that are contemporaneous, and they're not, like, public figures. They are just honest-to-God people. And do you think that it did that well?
So this one, I think... This is kind of, in a way, it's like everything is positive about them. They didn't really ever say anything negative about any particular person, so you can't really accuse them of, like...
Well, they have, like, the xenophobia plot line where they're like, get that Muslim out of here and all that.
Yeah. And, I mean, I think the difference there is that they're not coming out and they're like, the guy that was mayor of Gander at this particular point, he said all this mean shit. It's more like this was the general sentiment of everyone right now, because this attack just happened and a lot of people were against Muslims at this time because of that, you know.
And how do you feel the use of 9/11 is done in this? I know we brought up Remember Me, but we didn't really compare it to this very well. And like,
well,
9/11 kind of
with this being a true story,
yeah,
it's a little different. I mean, you can't tell this story and not mention 9/11. I mean, it's not.
Well, the thing is, it kind of ignores 9/11 for a good chunk of this story.
Because that's not the story they wanted to tell.
Right. It was just the
this
catalyst, basically.
Yeah, this isn't 9/11 the show. This is, remember when all these planes showed up in this small town and they were stuck there, you know? And it's like, that was part of it, but that's not the main focus that they're going with. They're trying to tell the story of how the heck did this small town deal with all these new people that are, you know, from different places going to different places, and they're all just stuck there.
Like, imagine an entire city, like, because they said they only had, like, what, 8,000 people there?
Yeah, so they,
In
like,
that
almost
city?
doubled their population.
Exactly, like, because 7,000 planes, and they had to figure out where we're going to house them, because you can't just put them all into the hotel, so you got to put them in people's houses.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up what happened.
I think one thing that they do mention, but they gloss over it a little bit, is that Gander as a town, was probably a little more prepared for this than they're letting on, just because they do have a very large airport that did used to be used for all sorts of stuff like this.
They mention that in the show, though.
They mention it a little bit, but I think they make it seem like they're completely unprepared when they probably, have it in the back of their minds that this kind of thing might happen occasionally.
But when has been the last time, probably not at the level they had it, is the
Not
thing.
at the level that they had it, no.
I think that's mostly the issue, because never before has really all planes been grounded in the entire, North America region.
I think this is the only time in recent history that the whole entire North America had to be grounded.
That's ridiculous to think, something like that could happen. Out of nowhere with no, preceding warning aside from, because it's remarkable.
Well, there is, China right now. I mean...
Yeah. But, things happening in America, you don't often think about how other countries are affected by it either.
Yeah.
Because imagine anyone in Canada doing this for America right now.
I mean, I think they would. If there was another emergency, I bet you that they would help us.
Justin Trudeau just says, "Nope, throw them in the ocean."
I don't like that Donald Trump guy. Therefore, all Americans should just drown.
Throw them in the ocean. And he's putting on blackface as he's doing it.
Yeah, I know a lot of leaders don't like Donald Trump, and that's totally fair, but I don't think that they would just...
Of course not.
Shoot our country in the face because they don't like the one guy.
No, I agree with you. I agree. It's strange how this show is a fucking roller coaster of emotions, because it'll go from the super highest highs to them dancing around oh, you're gonna be a Newfoundland, and then the next song is I can't find my son, he might be dead. Then let's dance and screech out.
I just think it keeps the tone balanced though. It never gets because this is a show about a dark time and it never gets too happy, but it shows good stuff can still happen even in the dark times, Not for everyone, though.
Your son's not coming back to life.
Your son's dead.
Your son's dead, Jim.
Yeah. I don't know. Plot-wise, there's not too much to talk about here.
There really isn't, and that's not a negative.
Not at all. It's a well-told story, but it's told more in a documentary style than anything. It's not really there's not a cohesive plot that's point 1, point 2, point 3, beginning, middle, end kind of thing,
Yeah. You want to go into a mid-show announcement?
Absolutely. Let's go to the middle of our show, because our show is very plot-based.
Structure-based, not plot-based.
We tell a story here.
Yeah, there's been some character development over the past year and a half. And if you haven't caught up on it, you gotta start from the beginning.
I'll be honest, I think our characters are starting to get a little flanderized.
Really? I'm just getting louder and you're getting more angry?
No, I'm getting more and more reasonable and personable and likable, and you're just becoming more of a shill.
Sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but I've got a shill at you. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Andrew, why don't you just say who's giving us money right now, you fucking shill, personable
shill. Our current patrons are Stephanie L., Tara Needleman, Max Lunig, Benjamin Learer, Lily Ackles, Mackenzie Horner, John Donna, Taryn the Duck, Melissa Goldman, Jess Lightning, Ewan Cassidy, Haley McDonald, Taskier, Cullen McLeod, Fire of September, Mina Maniri, Monica Thoreau, Brent Black, Haley Murray, Allison Wonderland, B-Way Flicks, Michael Johan, Nathaniel Stacy Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Luna Rocks 222, Uregel, Jero Witter, and William Want.
These folks give us a little financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you would like us to continue to musical explain things to you once a week, come support us on Patreon. I'm fucking salty. All right, guys, let's get back to the show.
When the candle's always on, when the sun is coming up, and the world is has come ashore. If you're hoping for a harbor, then you'll find an open door. In the winter, from the water, through whatever's in the way. To the ones who have come from away, welcome to the Rock.
What do you think about Welcome to the Rock as an opening number?
It's fine. I do think this is maybe one of the weaker numbers, in my opinion, but...
Really? That's the only one I really get stuck in my head that a lot.
You don't get the, you'll be a Newfoundlander.
I don't. I get, welcome to the Rock, where did it come from, away?
I think it's a good song, and it's a good opening. And I like that it's just going to focus on the setting. I kind of like that there's no scenes of, like, people in the planes before they land.
Yes, I agree. I feel like it's like this oncoming presence that is like on the horizon, and once they're there, like they don't talk about anyone who isn't in Newfoundland until they leave, and then they aren't happy again until they come back.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a great song. I mean, it sets the musical style really well too. Like you got that like heavy kind of percussion and very full vocal sound because everyone's singing, and it's great.
It's very percussive, and also gets you the choreography and the kind of style of like, we're gonna talk to you, and like as if we're talking heads in a documentary, and you better get fucking used to it.
And you know what I also like?
What?
They use the correct accent. They get actors that actually do the accent.
And they look like normal people is another thing. They don't all look like theater actors.
It's amazing that they found a bunch of actors that are able to do that accent right.
What's the accent?
The Newfoundland accent.
I mean, can you do your best Newfoundland accent?
No, I can't even try. That's why I think it's amazing that they found so many people that can do it.
My Newfoundland accent eventually turns into Minnesotan, and it feels like I'm in an episode of Fargo.
I mean, Minnesotan and Canadian accents are very close.
Han, the car needs a jumper.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
Sarah Palin kind of thing.
I can see Russia from my house.
From my house?
From my house. That's a moose.
You know, they could have just done Les Mis and have everyone be, I'm Canadian with a British accent.
Oh yeah.
Shots fired right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Imagine that. Welcome to the Rock, where we come from, away.
That's gonna be the movie version, and they get Hugh Jackman to be the mayor.
No, they are doing a movie version, but they're getting the guy that directed the original Broadway show to come back and do it. So I feel like he's not gonna fuck it up.
It's gonna be good.
I feel like it might be. Like if they actually shoot it in like documentary style and like hire a bunch of actors, I think it would be really great.
I think it's got potential.
I think this is like suited to be a movie, unlike things like, I don't know, 13 feels like it's a bad choice for a movie. Fun fact, okay, I'm totally derailing a little bit, but I feel like you might get a kick out of this and like think it's as strange as I do.
I'll get a kick out of you. Let's do it.
So Jason Robert Brown, the president of the Jason Robert Brown fan club, Jason Robert Brown.
You mean savior of writing, Jason Robert Brown?
Yeah, savior of writing, Jason Robert Brown. His musical, 13, is being turned into a movie by Netflix. And the director is the director of Billy Madison.
That is a weird choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what is 13 about. Is it a goofball comedy?
No, it's about 13-year-olds in school.
That doesn't seem interesting to me, but maybe.
It's a little bit more edgy than, say, a High School Musical. Like, it's got some edge to it. Like,
so Vanessa Hudgens won't be in it just kind of awkwardly smiling at all times.
It's like a jungle up here.
I don't know when that's going to stop being funny, but it's not anytime soon.
The director of this, she also directed Half Baked. Like, it's really weird that they picked her to direct 13, a Jason Robert Brown musical.
Maybe it will be good.
I mean, I like my musicals to be good. We got a lot of musical movies coming out, and it would be great if they were all good.
It would be nice if we can get at least one good one.
Spielberg's releasing a musical this year, so maybe it's going to be that one.
Hopefully. I mean, honestly, I don't really care what it is as long as it's... I mean, so far we're off to a really bad start because we got Cats right out of the gate.
We also got everybody's talking about Jamie. That's gonna be maybe good, maybe.
Maybe.
I am here in Canada. I am telling you, listen, my son, he takes risks. He's not missing. He's helping or hurt. He'll get out of this. Yes, I'll keep trying. And yes, here's the number. And yes, at the Legion in Gander, I'll be right here. I should be there when it's over and done. When he comes through the door and says, I'm home, Mom. I should be there for my son, but instead I am here. I am here. She leaves message after message for her son until there's no more room on his answering machine. All I know is you are there. You are there. And I am here.
Let's talk about I Am Here, which is Hannah's song where she's just searching for her son. It's probably the saddest song, and they put it dead center into the show, and it's like one of those rare times where it's like uber sincere and uber like please, this is the darkness of 9/11, take us seriously.
Well, yeah, and I feel like you have to have a number like this because you can't have the whole show be just like people that have no consequences and it's just they're just dancing and it's fun. It's like, no, you mean something bad, really bad did just happen, and
there are people that are trying to figure out what's going on. But the thing about this character, I think her name's Beulah, and she still looks back fondly and made friends and was emotionally supported while she was in Newfoundland.
Yeah, but it's still not. I mean, I'm sure it was still a really sad time.
Yes, I mean, no matter what, it's going to be a sad time, but some of the greatest friends are made during the darkest times, which is basically the point of this musical.
I mean, if you were going to sum it up in one sentence, that would be pretty much the best thing to say.
Put it on the poster, guys.
Put it on the poster. It's a hoot.
It's a hoot. Call back to our last episode. Do you know what this musical didn't win any of the big Tonys, and do you know what it lost to? Your favorite musical of all time, Andrew?
This one was the year that the one that you wanted to win was Great Comet, right?
Yes.
And it lost to... Well, it didn't lose to Tootsie.
No.
Oh, no! This was Dear Evan Hansen, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh,
and
God
just
damn it.
watching something like this and how emotional and how effective it can be compared to Dear Evan Hansen, which might be as emotionally resonant as tepid pudding.
How did Dear Evan Hansen win? Honestly, I think Tootsie was better than Dear Evan Hansen.
I mean, yes, but I didn't expect you to say it.
I'm going to come right out there. Tootsie was better than Dear Evan Hansen. I would have rather have seen that win.
That wasn't even the same year.
I guess. I don't even care. This was way better, though.
Compare this to Great Comet, because you got those three up against each other. Come From Away, Great Comet, and Dear Evan Hansen. Who do you think deserves the award if Andrew was the sole proprietor of who gets the Tony?
Okay, I mean, the one that I think is actually the best is Great Comet.
Yes.
But if we're going we want a crowd pleaser to be the big winner, Come From Away, for sure.
Because honestly, if this had won Best Musical, I probably wouldn't be as salty about it as I am.
Well, yeah, because this is actually
quality.
good. This is good. I mean, and Great Comet isn't for everyone, It's not. It's
which
a
is
little
fine
bit,
too.
The music is not something everyone's gonna get up and dance to or whatever. Whereas this is. So if you're going to pick one that's a crowd pleaser, which I would say Dear Evan Hansen is something that I would consider trying to be a crowd pleaser with the type of music. It's like pop rock,
It's garbage.
Yeah, and so this is way better. I don't know how else to say it. This deserves it more.
I agree, but the thing is, Come From Away, unlike Great Comet, had the last laugh in the end. This is still running and making a ton of money. In Canada, it's running. In New York, it's running.
Great Comet was kind of more of a tragic story where it's it lost and then it also lost again.
it lost to racism. Racism took down Great Comet.
Yeah, and I guess that's what happens when you do a story about Europeans in the 1800s. Racism takes it down.
Now the first
part is the easiest. We'll soon get to the queasiest. I'll need you to repeat this mess.
When you become a Newfoundlander.
He speaks a different language, son. We add some S's and some rum. You'll have to try a good cod tongue.
When you become a Newfoundlander. Hey, just do your best. Nothing scary, nothing yet.
You'll have to change the way you're dressed.
And you'll be a Newfoundlander. Hey, just sing along. Nothing venture, just prolong.
There's 30 verses in this song.
And you'll be a Newfoundlander.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Screech. Back in World War
Let's talk about Screech In / the bar song, because I know you love this scene.
Oh yeah.
To be a Newfoundlander.
Yeah, I love the stuff with the fish, and I love their little rain hats. The rain hats are the best.
I'm not gonna lie, nothing has made me want to go to Canada more than watching this musical. Like, I feel like it would be an event.
This is like the best promotion Newfoundland has ever gotten.
I agree. Hey, Toronto Comedy Fest, invite our show to do a live show, and we'll do it. We'll 100% be there.
Yeah, but only if it's in Newfoundland and not Toronto.
I mean, I'd be down for anything. Anywhere in Canada wants us to do a live show, we'll do it.
I mean, I've been to Quebec City and Montreal, and I've been to Toronto.
I've been to Niagara Falls, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean Niagara Falls. That is Toronto, isn't it?
It's not far from Toronto, but not in the city.
It's not the same, but it's close. But like, nothing quite matches the level of being given a little rain hat.
The serious way you just delivered that, as if like you were telling me my son just died.
I want a little rain hat, And it's neat to cross the border and suddenly have to read all your signs in French, but I never
go
got
10 miles slower on the freeway.
It's about the same speed, honestly.
Not in Detroit. I remember going from 80 miles an hour to 63 miles an hour.
You could go 80 miles an hour in the United States?
Yeah, you can.
Not anywhere near me.
Yeah, we got 75 to 80 miles per hour down here.
Yeah, I went from 55 miles per hour to 60 kilometers per hour, which is about the same.
Yeah, we drive like speed demons down here. We're called the Motor City for a reason.
Good on you.
Yeah, come visit us one day. I'll come from away.
I'll come from away.
Let's talk about Me in the Sky.
Well, this is their Captain Marvel, the song, right?
Captain Marvel before Captain Marvel.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Captain Marvel would be a Trump supporter, if I'm honest.
I mean, she did work for the military. That film bothers me, not because it's that film is funded by the fucking military. The Air Force had to approve how they were portrayed in that movie so that they could give money to Marvel to make that movie.
It's true. No, I mean, Captain Marvel herself, I feel like, you're giving this military person
all these god powers.
All these god powers to use. I mean, I feel like she's going to be kind of a despot, It's a bit of a fascist vibe there. But I guess it's a feminist message, though. So
now that I'm sitting here thinking, isn't that the same fucking thing that happened to Captain America, though? You take this soldier and you give him god powers. It could be a...
Captain America doesn't have god powers, though. Let's be real here.
He does.
He is very strong.
He doesn't age and he can't drink.
That's true. But I feel like even Iron Man could beat him pretty easily.
No, well, Iron Man didn't beat him easily. He was on a hand-to-hand fight.
Iron Man didn't beat him because him and his best friend teamed up and beat him.
That's why you and I can take on Iron Man, Andrew. Let's go.
Yeah, if Rhodey was still around, Iron Man would have won.
Iron Man would have too. Iron Man 2 would have won.
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3 is the only Iron Man. Me in the Sky.
Well, let's be real though. All the Marvel movies are pretty fascist bent. Come on.
What do you mean? Okay, what the fuck are you talking about?
Superhero as a concept is like a fascist concept. It's like, let's give one person who we trust their values all of this power, and they can, just deem anyone else a villain and take them out.
I mean, isn't that what vigilante justice is in general?
That's why vigilante justice is illegal.
I mean, it's not a fascist thing. Like, vigilantes aren't specifically fascist.
I mean, not specifically, but I think the idea that they are a good thing is.
Why? Very curious.
Well, I mean, what is a despot other than just that type of vigilante mindset, but just taking over the government? Like, if Captain America or Iron Man ran for president, what kind of government would that be?
One where there's a lot of snark.
I guess.
I'm gonna turn this into the oblong office, not the Oval Office.
All right, we're done with that.
American Airlines had the prettiest planes, so I applied as a flight engineer. But the World War II pilots, they all complained. They said girls shouldn't be in the cockpit. Hey lady, hey baby, hey, why don't you grab us a drink? And the flight attendants weren't my friends back then, and they said, are you better than us, do you think? But I kept getting hired, and the World War II crew, they retired, and the girls all thought much higher of me. 1986, the first female American captain in history. Suddenly I'm in the cockpit. Suddenly I've got my wings. Suddenly all of those pilots protesting me, well, they can get their own drinks. Suddenly there's no one saying stay grounded, looking down, passing them by. Suddenly there's nothing in between me and the sky. Suddenly I've got an all-female crew. The news caught and made headlines across the world. Suddenly it stopped. No one's saying you can't, or you won't, or you know you're not anything 'cause you're a girl. Suddenly I'm getting married, and we're putting pins on the map where we've flown. Suddenly I am a mother, and suddenly shocked at how much they've grown. Suddenly I'm wondering how my parents would feel seeing me teaching men to be pilots. 'Cause suddenly I am a senior instructor, and somehow I'm 51. Suddenly I'm flying Paris to Dallas, across the Atlantic and feeling calm, when suddenly someone on air-to-air traffic says at 8:46 there's been a terrorist action, and the one thing I loved more than anything was used as the bomb.
Me in the Sky.
Yes.
Me in the Sky is
Captain
a fine
Marvel
song.
the musical.
It's a fine song.
It's a great song. Like, it's surprisingly emotional. Like, I remember just listening to it and like nearly crying.
I like it. And I think after this song, she kind of becomes the main character in a way.
Because she's the only one with like a real number about who I am and what I do. Whereas even the other solo number by Beulah, it's by Hannah, not
Yeah.
Beulah. Is just like, I'm looking for my son and I can't find him. And this is like, here's my whole life story in a song.
I think the only thing that I have not against this song that I don't really like about the song is just that it does give a character backstory, and I almost see that as a bad thing in a way.
Really? Okay.
Because the whole rest of this is almost like play by play. It's like, this is what's happening in this moment, and then this one song breaks that entirely, and it doesn't really have a reason to.
I think it does. I get what you're saying, but the reason is to recontextualize the final lines of the song, which is like, I hear there's terrorist action, and the one thing I love more than anything was used as the bomb. And this is the reason why I can't fly right now and do the one thing I've always wanted to do, and I'm stuck here and it's frustrating. So like,
Yeah.
all
Well,
that
that's why
backstory
I
is
also say
important for that
this-
last moment to hit.
I also say this song, I think, makes her the main character in the end.
Yes.
Which is fine, and I think it helps end the story better, because otherwise it kind of just ends with like, well, that's it.
Oh,
Whereas now there's like a little
Newfoundland.
bit of like a closure to it, where it's like, you know, I mean, the closure is obviously a negative closure because 9/11 happened, but it's still
Because
actually
9/11.
something. There's still closure to it, and not just, everything kind of goes back to what it was.
Mm-hmm. Would you rank this as like one of the better songs in the show is my question, because it is kind of the iconic one aside from maybe Welcome to the Rock.
It's fine. It's no You'll Be a Newfoundlander, but
Well, this isn't your brand of song to begin with either.
no, I didn't dislike
I mean,
it. I didn't
you
dislike
hate women,
any song
and you
in
don't
this.
like songs where women are the focus. You fucking sex.
Obviously, that's what it is. You're right. You've nailed.
Horrible misogynist.
That's why I didn't like Tootsie.
There was just like when he was the man, it was fine, but as soon as he became
the second he became the woman, I was lost.
Back at my dad's house, I look out the window at this view I've looked at my whole life, and now a part of it, something's missing.
Something's missing.
Kevin breaks up with me, and then he quits and moves back home to New York, and I miss him. I miss his jokes.
Something's lost.
Nick and I call each other when we can, but it's awful. The only reason we met was because this terrible thing happened.
Something's caught.
All right, let's talk about Something's Missing.
This is when they all go back, and it's like, oh, everything was good, but 9/11.
Well, it is kind of contemplating with, I had such a good time because of 9/11, and now I gotta come back and deal with like, oh, this was actually a horrible thing that happened, not a million miles away, but right here, right now. It wasn't just this fantasy thing that I experienced. Like, I think one guy says that, like, people asked if I was, like, how bad was it when I was trapped, but they don't understand that it was so much better.
Yeah. Well, because it's almost like, when you're trapped there, there's no responsibilities. It's like it was almost like a mini vacation in a way for some of these people.
Each and every day, like a mini vacation.
Yeah, all grown up. I came from away, really want to shout it out.
Come from away with you.
Yeah, I mean, this song, Something's Missing, is like the emotional ending where it's like, yeah, we had all this fun, but like, this wasn't really a good thing that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of like recontextualizes, because we tend to forget like 9/11.
I never forget 9/11. It's the slogan of the day.
What about 11/12?
I forgot.
Or 11/7. Sorry, that was the day Trump got elected. 11/7. 11/9. 11/9. Sorry, because there's 9/11 and 11/9.
Isn't that the day every president gets elected?
No, because the Tuesday falls on a different day every year.
Oh, well, I'm sure another president has been elected on 11/9.
Yeah.
I don't know which one, but I'm sure it has happened.
Name it now or it never happened, Andrew. Picks or it didn't happen.
Abraham Lincoln. All right, I'm looking it up. Abraham Lincoln.
Vampire Hunter.
When was he elected? He was president March 4th. Well, that's when he got in office, when he was elected.
Is this going to be another moment where we realize that President Garfield died on a Monday?
Oh, no.
Remember that?
I remember that.
I think that was the moment I realized, oh, this podcast is going to work.
Garfield died on Monday. No. No, he was November 6th.
Huh, you are wrong, and your mom will never love you now.
One day off.
Thousand straight! When the sun is setting and it's darker than before, if you're open for a harbor, then you'll find an open door. In the winter, from the water, through whatever's in the wings, to the ones who have come from away, we say, welcome to the 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 rock.
Andrew, how would you Muppetize Come From Away?
Oh my goodness, this is a mainstay now, isn't it?
I'm trying.
There's no characters. What do you mean? How do you Muppetize?
How do you Muppetize it?
Okay. Beverly's Miss Piggy. I don't know. Hannah is a special guest, and everyone else is just random Muppets. There's 1,000.
Everyone else is Kermit. Everyone else is Kermit.
Everyone else is Kermit. All the other Muppets. There's a bunch of chickens.
Bert and Ernie need to be the gay couple, though.
Yeah, Bert and Ernie are in there, even though they're not Muppets. They're Sesame Streets, but...
They are Muppets on Sesame Street. Kermit was on Sesame Street.
That's true. but Kermit was also on the Muppets. Bert
Yeah,
and
so
Ernie
were Bert and
never-
Ernie.
I don't remember that ever happening.
They weren't regulars, but they did show up.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, this show doesn't have characters really to Muppetize, so it's not gonna be easy to do.
Well, it looks like you got your work cut out for you, Andrew.
Also, I think the gay couple should be Statler and Waldorf.
Well, no, because then neither of them would do anything except
That's-
bang each other.
Hell yeah.
Oh ho ho ho! Shove your thumb in my bum! Oh ho ho!
Making light of 9/11, Jess. How
I
shameless
thought
of you.
my day was shitty. Now let's talk about it.
All right. Overall thoughts from Come From Away. I mean, I think it's really good. I love the music. It's got a good emotional core to it, and it's not too doesn't overstay its welcome. It's very short, which is always a good thing.
Andrew doesn't like wasting his time. Did
Don't waste my time.
Did you take too many poops before this musical, and then you're like, oh, the musical wasn't long enough?
Nope. I did my research. I only took one poop beforehand.
Oh.
And as far as a cheese rating, I mean, to be honest, I don't really know what to give this.
How about I let you think about it, and I'll tell you what I think?
Why don't you go first, and I'm going to think about it a little bit.
I really like Come From Away. It was shocking how emotional I got to this show because I didn't really care about it, and I was like, far after the Tony's performance, far after all that, and I give it a listen, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm about to cry here, and I didn't expect this. I thought this was just going to be goofy white people dancing badly. And no, like, this is an intensely emotional catharsis. Like, I think, like, that's the best word to use for it, because it is a happy show, and it is a fun show, but it's only because we have that emotional context of what's going on.
Yeah.
And therefore, I am giving it Smoky Avalon Cheddar, which is a very specific cheese from Five Brothers Artesian Cheese in Newfoundland.
I was actually going to say I was going to give it a cheddar cheese because, well, one, it says it's popular in Canada, which is always good, and cheddar is just a very good type of cheese. And I feel like it fits it. So I agree with yours.
All right, Andrew. That's great. That was a lot of fun, Andrew. I had a lot of fun.
And if you haven't seen Come From Away, check it out. This is one that we both highly recommend, I would say.
Highly recommend. Like, one of the more fun and emotionally engaging pieces. And it's one of those few things that me and Andrew just outright agree with each other on, which is very rare to begin with.
Yeah.
Because we're bitter enemies. Bitter enemies.
I feel like the shows we generally agree on are the ones that are really good.
I mean,
or really terrible.
Yes, I was about to say, like there's that gradient, but when it's like middle range, like you tend to hate the positive middle range, and then kind of like the lower middle range.
I guess. I mean, that's on your scale. I would say the opposite for you. So,
you know what I would say?
I would say, let's dance. You'll be a Newfoundlander.
You know who won't be a Newfoundlander? Our wonderful patrons. Thank you guys.
Don't say that to them.
You guys are incredible. And
you guys are all Newfoundlanders.
Here's your little rain hat.
Here's your little rain hat.
We love you all. Here's kisses from your musical daddies.
Musical daddy kiss.
Musical daddies. I'm Daddy Jess, and this is Daddy Andrew. And come sit on our laps, and we'll talk to you about a musical.
Jess, I'm not sure that's appropriate.
Well, I guess someone isn't dedicated to loving our little patron kids. But I guess it's obvious which dad you should love more. Either way, thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher at Musicals with Cheese. Our Twitter is at Cheesy Musicals. Our Patreon is Musicals with Cheese. Our Instagram is Musicals with Cheese. Our YouTube page is Musicals with Cheese. Our email is musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our title card is created by the absolutely incredible Jolene Casco. Go send her some love at Jolene Casco on Instagram.
Do you know she has a Facebook now?
What?
Jolene Casco has a Facebook now? Did you know that?
I did not.
It's crazy.
Yeah, she has a Facebook too. Go send her some love. Andrew, any news with your band that you want to promote? I know you got a bunch of live shows coming up.
Honestly, not yet. Not yet. I got some stuff in the works.
Oh shit, I jumped the gun. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But I'll let you know.
Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Let's see. We love you, and I want a little rain hat. If anyone emails me a rain hat and I can download it onto my head, that would be great.
Oh yeah, here's something that I've legit been considering. If we set up a PO box, would you guys like send us fan art and shit? Like, would that be something that you guys would be interested in doing? Leave us a little comment if you would like that.
Yeah, if you ever want to send us anthrax or anything like that, we will just here's our PO box. Here you go.
I love it. I snort it up. Makes me stronger every day.
Whoops.
Speaking of 9/11, like an anthrax, do you know what that entire anthrax scare was?
No, I don't.
It wasn't like any actual terrorist. It was a guy, well, I guess he was an actual terrorist, but it was a guy who developed a vaccine for anthrax that was pissed off that no one wanted to finance his vaccine because they didn't think it was that important. So he's like, I'll show them. And it was like a few days after 9/11. So he's like, I'm going to send this to a bunch of people and show them how powerful anthrax is so they'll pick up my vaccine. And it took them years to find that out.
I mean, on the real, though, why would we not fund a vaccine for anthrax?
Because no one thought it was a big fucking deal.
I guess.
Until it was. Did you know about anthrax until they started sending it in the mail?
Hell yeah, I knew about anthrax. They're one of the big four. You got Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer.
Don't send us anthrax, kids. All right, we love you very much. We'll see you next time on Musicals with Cheese.